I love fragrances, right? I'm sure you understand that. I'm sure you probably would assume that to be the case. And I've loved them for a long time, you know, cheap ones, expensive ones, ones right in the middle, clones, original creations, all of that stuff. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's cool that you can create a scent and then bottle it and then share it with people, and people can interpret it differently. I just think it's a really neat thing. When I was first starting out, I really used to look at the bottle first, and that would be the deciding factor if I wanted to buy it, right? I was going after the aesthetics first and then the smell second, which is definitely the wrong way to go about it. The longer I've done this, the less and less I care about the looks, the bottle, all that stuff. And really, the less I care about spending a lot of money on something just because it's like a status symbol or something. Like, oh, I bought this niche fragrance, it's premium, I spent a lot of money on it, makes me feel good. Those days are gone for me. At this point, I buy things that I think I'm going to enjoy the smell of, whether it's $20 or $200, $300, right? I like all of that stuff. Today, what we're going to be doing is looking at some scents that I would pick over my expensive, premium, fancy niche fragrances. So these are designers. We're looking at about $100 or less. A few of these are right there on the line, maybe a touch over $100, so still not cheap, but a lot more affordable than niche. And some of these will be significantly less, you know, even $50, $40, $30. So we've got a nice little range of scents here that I just think really can hold up against some of those premium options. First one's going to be Armani Code Eau de Parfum. This is the 2024, so this is essentially the Armani Code Profumo re-release or remake, right? You know, for whatever reason, they decided to discontinue Code Profumo, and I guess looking back on it, maybe they were just transitioning over to this new style, refillable type bottle, and so they just, you know, discontinued that one and then made us wait a couple years. Really made a lot of us nervous. But I'm glad that we essentially have that smell back in the new Armani Code Eau de Parfum. Now, there's a slight difference. It's not quite as root beer, cola, fizzy as Code Profumo, but it is still wildly close. It is definitely way more similar than different by a lot, and you can tell what they were doing here. This is emulating that Armani Code DNA, and really, you know, it's not even a clone because it's still the same brand and the same line, just a new bottle and a slight variation. And I love that DNA. It's just a really nice tonka bean scent. And it's maybe a little bit more of a polarizing one, has always been. You know, when it was getting hyped up, it was, some people were looking down on it. And again, that's just how it is. Not everybody likes the same thing. I think the main thing with that one is it does have a bit of a younger smell to it. So guys that were looking for something more mature, a little bit more refined, a little bit more classy, you know, you just don't get that out of this type of smell. But if you do want something that is just really nice, playful, sweet, kind of bubbly, fizzy for fall and winter time, I mean, this just works well. Armani Code Eau de Parfum 2024 is going to be one to look into. And I have quite a few niche fragrances, many more designers than niche, but I mean, I would pick this over some of my more expensive niche options, mostly because I can get more use out of it, and it works really well. This next one is from Dior, and it is Homme Intense. So Dior Homme Parfum is an excellent choice of mine as well. The problem with that one is it's kind of niche price. Well, at least close, and actually it could be, depending on how expensive niche you're looking at and comparing it to. It's 100 ml for about $170 to $180. That's a lot of money for a designer. Dior Homme Intense, on the other hand, is right around 110 maybe, somewhere around in there. And so more affordable, just not cheap, but also not crazy expensive either. Beautiful, smooth, creamy iris scent with some lavender, some ambrette as well. So it's kind of a little bit chocolatey, sweet, this real nice sticky kind of powdery iris note. I mean, I don't need to describe this one much more because most people know about it at this point. This was actually one of the few fragrances that I sampled first years and years and years ago, because hearing about it so much and it was so polarizing, I wasn't going to commit to a full bottle first. And it was one where I sampled it expecting not to like it, and I actually ended up loving it. So it was kind of something I wasn't expecting. So I'll let you be the judge of that, whether you want to sample first or blind buy. You know, if you're someone who already likes iris scents, then it's probably going to be a no-brainer. But if you're just starting out, you know, this might be one that you would want to think twice about, just diving straight into. Maybe work your way up to it a little bit, just depending on what you like. For me, it has become just a favorite of mine for cooler times of the year, fall and winter. It's just something I really, really love. And when you take a look at the quality, the performance, you know, and even just the uniqueness, it rivals niche any day of the week, in my opinion. Mercedes-Benz Club Extreme is up next. Now, this one here is really impressive because you can actually get this one for, what is it, $37 to $40 or something. It's actually more affordable than Club Black right now, which is also really good, really nice vanilla benzoin scent. This one is going to be essentially a patchouli scent, patchouli and some amber, and some other woods, but primarily patchouli, which on its own is kind of a more masculine, refined, classy, upscale smell or note. I mean, take a look at some really popular patchouli scents out there, and one that comes to mind is technically niche, but it's very much designer price, L'Instant de Guerlain Eau de Parfum. I mean, that stuff is just pure sophistication from start to finish. And this kind of reminds me of that style a little bit. You know, it has kind of it's the type of patchouli that they're using sometimes can give off a little bit of a slight chocolatey smell to it. So there's a tiny bit of a gourmand aspect to this one too. Sometimes when I smell this, I almost feel like there should be a little bit of a coffee note, and that is kind of tying this back to like a Mugler Angelman or Mugler Phantasm. Again, it's not as cut and dry as that. They're still very much different, right? But if you're just starting to try to connect some dots and see where this one lands, you could kind of say it does share some similarities here and there in passing to the ones I just mentioned. The main thing with this one is it's going to be the most affordable. Again, you know, I think just a bit under $40 for this right now for 100 ml. It is a fantastic pickup. It's an eau de toilette concentration, so as far as that is concerned, it's on the low end, but it's still a really good performer. I mean, at the end of the day, that stuff, it smells like it could be going for triple the price of what it does, really. I mean, so for me, a lot of times, it's one that I'll choose over some of my expensive niche in the wintertime. Okay, now we've got L'Homme Eau de Parfum, of course, by YSL. I've been a fan of the original for years. Of course, I love La Nuit de L'Homme, and really for the most part, throughout both of those lines, most of the flankers are really good. They've got a few that are just, you know, they were short-lived and just maybe weren't all that exciting, and maybe some of them are still being produced right now. For the most part, you really can't go wrong with any of the scents from either line. And I think one that is kind of overlooked is L'Homme Eau de Parfum. It's got cognac, bitter orange, oak, some lavender in here. I mean, for me, it's the coloration. Look at that stuff. Nice, deep, kind of ambery brown, brownish color. Looks incredible. Of course, an Eau de Parfum concentration, and it's strong. It's stronger than the original. Probably not something you would consider to be beast mode, but I also wouldn't really expect a scent like this to be beast mode. It's a very gentleman's kind of more personal scent where I wouldn't want it to be obnoxious. You know, it's not an Eros type of DNA where it makes sense. You know, it's one that I think should be a little bit more, you know, close to skin, a little bit more of a personal style scent. I do like that it still plays on the original L'Homme smell, just with a little bit of a cognac, woody, warm, spicy twist. Really good, great quality, premium scent. Now let's go with Tumi Continuum. Now you don't need a giant 200 ml bottle like this. I mean, it's absurd. It worked out to be a good deal when I was buying it at the time, so I went for it. But I mean, this is my hand. I mean, I don't have huge hands, but they're not what I would consider to be small either. I mean, giant, heavy, heavy bottle, enough for 3 lifetimes with my type of collection. Now, the thing that I love about these Tumi fragrances is the cap. So twist that, lifts up, it's metal, okay? Really nice, heavy cap. Not quite as heavy as like a PDM cap, but it's close. Probably still one of the heavier caps that I have in my collection, and it's the same with the 100 ml bottles too. I think this assembly is a little bit bigger on this 200, but you get the idea. Love the red atomizer button there, just nice, you know, accent color. Smell it. I mean, it's really, really, really good tobacco scent. Along with that tobacco, you're getting a nice suede note, some amber in here too, and some woody notes like a nice cedar wood, even a bit of a creamier, smoother sandalwood as well. The tobacco itself is not overbearing. It's not like, you know, a Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, not that that's crazy either, but it's, I would say, more in line with like a Dolce & Gabbana The One type of tobacco. Smooth, designer level, very wearable, but yet still something that gives you more of a textured variance compared to a lot of other scents out there, if it makes sense. You know, I think tobacco, it can be used in a way that it's still very mass-pleasing, but it does give the scent some added depth and character. And these Tumi scents have really worked their way down pretty far on discounters now. I mean, you're well under 100. I think sometimes you can get the 100 mLs for, I don't know, what is it, 50, 60, maybe $70, somewhere around in there, but they've come a long way. They retail for a bit more, but don't pay the retail price. Which, by the way, I will have everything linked down below to discounters, and if you're wanting to try before you buy, check out our website, decantcenter.com. We'd love to get you hooked up with some samples to make sure you're making the right choice. Lalique Ombre Noire. Now, this one here also has come a long way. Like $60-ish or so, maybe sometimes a bit less, maybe sometimes a bit more. We'll just say 60 to kind of maybe play it safe. It's got tobacco leaf, cognac, and cinnamon. So even though this one shares tobacco with the Tumi, still completely different. Completely different. The bay leaf that's being used in here is really interesting. And this one also has a boozy note, whereas the Continuum does not. But there's something, it's a really weird scent, but in a good way. That's why I like it. It's something truly unique and different from a designer brand, which is something that a lot of us crave. I mean, you get tired of the same old thing, and this is definitely not. Nice looking bottle presentation. I mean, nothing crazy fancy, but yet for the price that this one goes for, don't expect it to be. Truly a premium, expensive smell for not an expensive price. Spicebomb Extreme. Three tobacco scents in a row, I understand, but I like it. Can't even see. Yeah, Spicebomb Extreme. Of course, you know what the bottle looks like, but really doesn't show up that well. Obviously, tobacco. Nice vanilla note and a ton of black pepper, giving it that spice in the name there. It's a grown-up version of Spicebomb. It is the one to get. If you're looking to pick up any Spicebomb scent, I think this is the best by a landslide, to the point where for a lot of people, the other ones probably aren't even a necessity. The Eau de Toilette is a classic, and I think this is an improvement. Maybe it's still worth owning because you can get it for a good price nowadays. Cool bottle, and again, a classic. But as far as like the night visions are concerned, not my favorites. I really don't think that those are worth sinking money into unless you're just out of things to buy. But I mean, there's just better options all over the place. You know, Spicebomb Eau Fraiche was an incredible one that was worth getting, but of course they had to discontinue that and then put out things like Night Vision, which are just worse. So I think, again, as far as what you can get, this is it. Maybe infrared eau de parfum too, but I think Spicebomb Extreme is where you should start, and then from there you could see if maybe you want to get some more, but it's a premium tobacco scent. We're going to finish this video with a cheapie. It's Moustache Eau de Parfum. 37 to maybe $40 depending on tester or not. So really, really good price. It's one of the cheapest ones in this video, and it's right there on the line as far as cheapie price, depending on what you would define a cheap scent. For me, it's pretty close. And it's a YSL Tuxedo clone. Now, what I love so much about this too is the bottle is super, super heavy. It's heavier. It's honestly, I mean, it's not as heavy as this. I mean, it might. These two are close. I mean, it's super heavy, thick glass. Got a lot of just extra down here. Super solid, nice gunmetal gray looking cap, metal as well. I mean, it doesn't look and feel like a $40 scent. Easily double, triple price as far as just the presentation and even the smell. Premium, great, great quality. Very, very close to tuxedo with a few differences. Not as much patchouli here, more so vanilla, pink pepper benzoin going on, but still very close and just great quality. You know, I love the original tuxedo. It's a classic and it's great stuff, but this one is just, it's a fraction of the cost and it really can hold its own. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some great scents that are affordable and can really hold up against some of those premium, expensive niche scents. Again, I will link everything down below to discounters. If you're wanting to try before you buy, again, we'd love to help you out, decantcenter.com. We've got a bunch of designer and niche to choose from over there that you can try in a couple different sizes depending on how much you're wanting to try. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.